Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Kickish. Today we have Lauren Hastings, SLP. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
She's a speech language pathologist, and today we're gonna learn all about what she does, what she specializes in, how she got here, her journey, everything. So thank you, Lauren, for coming and gracing me with your presence.
No problem. I'm excited to be here.
Yay. So as always, we're gonna get started with how we met. And honestly, I don't really have a particular moment in time, but I do feel like I've always known you since I moved to Atlanta, because I think you were like a senior at GAAA, and I just remember
Just put it out there like that.
Yeah,
Great.
I just realized what I did.
Was that 2001, 2002?
Back in the year of. Then I feel like I really got to know you when you came to my classroom. It was like, look, my auntie said. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Right.
So you end up planning my wedding.
Yeah.
And it was cool.
Right.
So we kind of got the same story.
Yeah, pretty much. That sounds about right. That
Sounds right.
I have nothing to add to that story. I'm glad you left that last part out, and you know what part I'm talking about. Except from the history books.
Oh man. That is so funny. That's so funny. But yes, I'm very glad that you're here. So I'm just gonna let you jump into it. So you are a speech pathologist. I don't know if you want to share where you're based, what you do, how we find you, and everything, how you got here.
It's a lot. So I do a lot. So I'm trying to keep it in this little box, which you can't put me in a box. So my name is Lauren Hastings. Like she said, I have a mobile private practice in Atlanta right now called Here to Speak. I also recently started a consulting business called Here to Speak Academy, where I help other speech pathologists start their private practice, but more specifically, help them become an insurance provider. So give you a little inside scoop that there are companies out there that charge $200, $300, $400, $500 to fill out the application for people, but sometimes they do it wrong and they take forever. And so I teach people that can do it themselves and save all that money.
Okay.
As well as teach them how to bill insurance. So it's really an all-inclusive class. So I teach them how to apply and get credentialed themselves. And then I teach them how to bill insurance. And then, of course, I show them my software, how I do it, my processes, my systems that I have in place. So it's not just insurance talk. I talk about business in general. But I don't know when this is going to be released, but I feel like I'm comfortable in saying this. But I will be closing my practice. I recently got accepted into the University of Alabama, Birmingham PhD program. Yes, I'm very excited. It's a. You think what?
I think my aunt is there. I know my cousin is there.
Yeah, we gotta connect. Yeah, so it's not in speech. It is actually in education. So it's educational studies in diverse populations with a concentration in health disparities. So I get to marry my love of education, my love of minorities, and then my love of children with disabilities. I really just wanted to find, and this is like a tidbit I'm giving early on in this conversation, but I really just wanted to find a place where I could study Black people. I know that's kind of straightforward, but
no, we're here for it.
So if anybody is considering a PhD program, all of my friends always told me, look at the program and look up what the faculty are studying, because you're going to study what they're studying. And so at first I was like, maybe I should do a PhD in special education. So I started looking at different programs, and no one was really studying Black people.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I was just like, I don't think I need to do the PhD in speech. And so Fortunately, but unfortunately, my ex-boyfriend lives in Alabama, and so when we first started dating, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna give up my dream of getting a PhD just because of this relationship. So I actually found this program because of him, but unfortunately, we're not together anymore. But it all works out. So
It worked out. You know,
it just
you
worked
relate
out.
there.
But right. And so when I read up on the program, I can study race, I can study socioeconomic status, I can study
Mhm,
homosexuality if I wanted to. And
mhm,
so, and lump it in to education and now health disparities because having a mobile private practice, who are people, Lord, we are in denial when our kids have delays. And I truly feel this is just my hypothesis, but I truly feel like Black people are thinking, oh, my child's already Black. Now they have this disability. I really don't
mhm,
want to like even think that way. Right. Um,
mhm,
and then also, I think that for years, people are still like living in the 50s and 60s. It's such a negative connotation of the idea of a child being delayed or a child having autism or a child having any type of syndrome or intellectual disability. That negative, that negative idea of like being put in a straitjacket or sent away to a school that no one knows that you go to. Like
mhm.
I'm still fighting that mentality now, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And so for me, another reason why I want to go to school is because these people have policies and stuff in place, but they're not implemented.
Mhm,
And you only see that when I call them when you're in these streets, you know. And so now I'm at a position where okay, I have 6 years this week, made it 6 years that I've been in private practice. I have these 6 years of experience. Thank you. And then I have this 5 year experience in the school system. And
mhm,
so I'm marrying all of those experiences to say, okay, I still was kind of seeing the same thing in private practice that I was seeing when I was in the schools. And you know, you worked at a school, so you understand what I mean with the whole like you're trying to say, hey, they might need some extra help, and then the parents like, no, they good. We
mhm.
just don't get a tutor. Like, you might
No,
want to
it's
test
a little
it.
deeper than that.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. So I'm really excited about this next chapter. I get to leave Atlanta. Everybody's trying to come here. I don't know why, but
It's
I'm really
full.
excited.
Atlanta is full,
It's full, right? It's full,
and so is Chicago.
right? And so going to Birmingham, I'm really excited about that, and just getting back into that space of being in school. Just something I know school is expensive sometimes and it can be a challenge, but it's something about being in a learning environment and just, you know, meeting people with different perspectives and just having that camaraderie and conversation. So I'm
Mhm.
really excited about that.
That is cool. So how long is the program?
So I can do part time or full time.
Okay.
I want to do part time
Okay.
because, you know, I want to get biblical on you, but the race is not given to the swift. Okay, so if part time is an option, let's do part time. Okay,
He's on back
um,
into there.
right, exactly. Because I've been out of school for a little bit, so I'm also shifting gears. Like I said, I'm closing my practice, but I am hoping to get a job at the children's hospital because I've never worked at a hospital.
Okay.
And the hospital, I'm telling you all the tea. The hospital is
I
associated. The hospital is associated with UAB. So a
Mhm.
perk for working there, they will pay for your tuition after
Okay,
you have
well, we
worked there
praying
for
on
a
that.
certain. So name it and claim it for me.
We praying on that. Yes, yes.
So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, that's what I got going on right now.
Wow, that is so cool. That's so cool. So And I guess like for me, especially because you're studying, I know it's like African Americans, but Black people. Because one of my questions was going to be about, well, one, you specialize currently because you're still practicing.
Right.
So at this current moment in time, you specialize in the younger kids.
Yes. So like in the schools, I always did elementary. So I was just used to kindergarten through fifth grade. When I started my practice, out of nowhere, I started getting babies. So majority of my clients are 5 and younger.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so with that, and I know you were saying, especially with Black kids, I know when I think it's easier. People like to label Black kids as, hyperactive. They need to be put on medication and all this stuff. So I feel like that's one of the fears in which parents are not rushing to go get their kids tested. But I think it's so important that we have Black representation in these roles to be
Absolutely.
like, look, sis, no, your child
Yeah.
needs XYZ,
Yeah. And
and
that's how I
so
talk to them too, just like that. Just
come
like that. Just like
here,
that. Like I've got to the point where I'm like, listen, this is not Miss Lauren talking. This is like big sis. I'm auntie of your child. This is what we need to do. But
wow.
one thing I have found is that, or I'm learning, is that when you tell a parent there's something wrong with their child, especially the mother, they take it personal and think you're telling them something's wrong with them.
Mhm.
Not only that, I try to shift the conversation and tell them it's their environment. So it won't sound like it's so personal.
Mhm.
Let's talk about screen time. Let's talk about a routine. Let's
Mhm.
talk about what you're feeding your child. So I kind
Okay.
of shift the conversation that way, even though I'm still kind of saying, it's you.
You.
Because I tell all of my parents where I think a child has ADHD, I tell them I bat for both teams. I bat for let's do all natural stuff first and
Mhm.
see if that changes it. And if it doesn't, then let's
Gotta
get
get my
some pharmaceutical help,
yeah.
right? But 9 times out of 10, I want to be honest with you, if they're consistent and if they change their child's environment, it subsides. I won't say it goes away, but it
Mhm.
subsides. I do have my certification in ADHD as a clinical provider, and that basically just means that I can't diagnose, but I do have extra tools and tricks up my sleeve in working with kids with ADHD. And when I was getting that certification and learning from different psychologists and neurologists, I come to realize it's really the child's environment. I'm
Wow.
sorry, but these new parents are giving their children ADHD. I, they're
It's
giving
your
it to
fault.
them. It's your fault. So you remember back in the day when we were younger and they were talking about, oh, too much TV time.
Mhm.
If you really deep dive now, before they would say what? The picture would change every 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
Yeah, to keep your
Now it's
attention span,
quicker.
'cause
Now it's
attention
quicker.
is short. Yeah.
Right. So now it's quicker, especially if it's on a tablet. So think about this. There's a reason why the pediatricians of the Academy of Pediatricians are saying no screen time before the age of 2. There's a reason. There's a reason why they say, okay, once they turn 2, it's only, I think, 30 minutes to an hour a day, and that's monitored. Meaning, if they're watching something about Elmo, oh, what's Elmo singing? Oh, he's singing his ABCs. It's monitored. You're
Mhm.
engaging with the kid while they're still on screen time because that birth to 5 period is so important. It's
Okay.
so important. So it's so important for brain growth. Like I think I read somewhere that the children have the most brain growth between birth to 5, and
Wow.
and then it's some other stuff, but that's more reading stats. I'm not gonna get too deep into it because I don't remember them all. But just know, birth to 5 is an important period of time. So
Mhm.
think about it this way: if you are handing your phone to your toddler, they're
Mhm.
like a year and a half, 2 years old. First of all, about to educate you real good because now you're gonna start looking at kids. Now they're not even developing
Oh, how
the pointing finger anymore. I see thumbs and I see middle fingers. Thumbs and middle fingers all the time. And I'm just like, in my head, even though I'm not an occupational therapist, I'm thinking writing is going to be a problem. That pencil grip is going. I have seen kids like this. I have a 4-year-old right now. He colors. He writes like this.
Wow.
Not like this. Like this. So, and then when I'm a holistic therapist, meaning yes, speech is my lane, but I look at every single thing. And then you see them pick up a phone and they're using their thumbs. Your thumb is not supposed. It's as their index finger. So it's affecting their pencil grip. It's affecting their attention. So if screen time now is quicker than it was when we were younger, and you're introducing it early, that's why you see kids run around and not being able to sit down. Right. That's why they can't sit down. That's why they can't attend. Because if you take that away, oh, this is too slow for me. I'm not entertained. So they have to do something that's real quick. Wow. They got to run around. You see your kid. And then add on top of that, let me get it real good, lay it on thick. Let's add on top of that all these carbs and these hot Cheetos, and now they got hot Funyuns and flaming hot this and flaming hot that.
Me and you are talking about that.
Listen,
we were talking about that.
The flaming hot anything use red food color dye, whatever. If you look up the red food coloring, it's very bad. I remember a parent of mine, a patient of mine, every time I went to his house, he would eat flaming hot Cheetos. Oh my gosh. And it just, first of all, I cringe because it's junk food, number one. Number two, I didn't know that much about red food dye until I think I watched a documentary on Netflix. But I knew I was right when mom said, yeah, I had to take him to the ER a couple of times because he had a bad stomach ache. Why? Because of the flaming hot, like, it's all interconnected. So you got the layer of the tablets and the phones. Then you got the layer of the bad diet because kids are not eating fruits and vegetables anymore. And then kids don't go outside no more. And outside, going outside, getting that vitamin D, it helps decrease ADHD. But if they're staying inside, if they're eating junk, if they're always in front of the screen, this is why I say parents nowadays are getting their kids ADHD.
That's so crazy. Like, I had something that was in my head and then you kept talking, but I didn't know it was good because it was something that you said. But I'm gonna go back to this. I feel like you're real quick with it. One, because I remember being at a dinner one time and there was a kid there.
Oh.
There.
Yes.
That's as much as the event location I'm gonna, and you instantly was like,
yep,
this is what's going on with that kid. And I was like, when I have a kid, I'm gonna be like, Lauren, it's gonna be like day one. There you go. All right. But yeah, like, and that's really crazy because like you're spot on because I see this kid, throughout life, and what you said, like, it's true. But I did watch this documentary one time. I don't even know what it was called, but it was talking about in certain countries they don't even make shows for kids under 5 because kids under 5 should not be watching TV. That's how. So they said that in this country, I wish I would remember what country it was. Like, so how we have like Sesame Street, Arthur, all that, they don't make that for them. They do not show that. Nothing is 5. It's 5 and above. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. But I guess because they know, like you said, those are the critical moments of the brain development. And we went outside.
Yeah, I'll even tell you this. One of my high school friends, classmates actually, her daughter wasn't talking as she should have. And Marco Polo. We have our little class on Marco Polo.
Yeah.
I said, it's a lot of things going on. First of all, when you recording these videos at 10, 11 o'clock at night, she's still up. I have a problem with that. Number two, it seems like the TV is always on. I was like, you need to dial that back. She hasn't been that consistent, but has started to dial it back. And I remember seeing her post on Facebook, oh, my daughter said a two-word phrase for the first time. And it's more, I'm telling you, I'm not crazy. I have experienced it so many times. This is why I don't blink. I don't try to tiptoe around it. I have seen. I even have I'll tell you the story. There's a kid I picked up February 2020. He was not talking, and mom was they only in Atlanta, so someone turned this old motel into an apartment building.
Oh, saying those.
So it's just a one room. And so I
Mhm.
was telling her, I said, you need to dial back the TV. I said, I know you can only do what you can because it's just a one room thing. But I was
Yes.
like, dial back the screen time, dial back the TV. She did. And she said, at one point, he stopped asking for the tablet. So the great thing about that situation was that she watched how I interacted with him. She started
Mhm.
buying some of the same toys.
Mhm.
Um, but so I picked him up. Let me go with the timeline. I picked him up February 2020. COVID happened. She was just like, I don't want this to stop. I was like, she did the if you good, we good. So I just washed my hands. I'm for real. I had a couple parents to do that. So um, when COVID hit, I kept working. There was about 5 or 6 parents who were like, I don't want this to stop. My kid is doing
Yeah.
too well. And a
Mhm.
few of them had autism. And we thought he had autism, which he did. And so she didn't want him to stop. So picked him up February 2020. He got diagnosed with autism July 2020, I think it was. And by the
Mhm.
following year, I discharged him. The special ed teacher, because he ended up doing self-contained, meaning that it's a special ed classroom, self-contained special ed classroom remotely online,
Okay.
starting fall of 2020, I think it was. And then by the end of the school year, the teacher was like, Mom, I think we're going to move him to like an inclusion classroom because he just knows too much. Because all of my kids, I start them with their colors, their shapes, and their letters as the first
Mhm.
3 things I am incorporating in therapy. So my kids can run circles around other kids, no matter what delay they got. They know
Mhm. Oh, they
their colors,
stuff.
their shapes, and their letters. Right. So because he knew all of that, I could grow his conversation. He was able to answer questions. So
Okay.
he was like running circles around those kids, like to the point of he couldn't even wait for his turn. The
Mhm.
teacher would ask another kid, and he's like, "Oh, that's a circle. Oh, that's a this." Right? And so I say all that to say, in a year's time, he got diagnosed with autism, graduated out of self-contained, was talking full sentences like, when I discharged him, his mom said he was walking around the house like, "Where's Miss Lauren? I can't find Miss Lauren." Like full-fledged sentences. Now this
Wow.
kid had like 4 by the time I discharged him, like 4 or 5.
Mhm.
So you can't tell me the environment doesn't make an impact. You
Oh yeah.
can't tell me that. You can't tell me, and I won't step on people's toes, people's parenting styles don't have an impact, right? Because I have had to tell parents, stop picking your child up. Why are you
Wow.
picking up a 4-year-old? He's 4. Why are you picking up?
Like I be seeing that sometimes, but I feel like that's just the judgmental constants. I be like, why are you picking your
No,
kid up? But then,
no.
I'm like, whatever.
So here's the thing. Think about it this way, and my brain just I have come to the conclusion. I think differently. I think outside the box. People don't think like me, and I just have to embrace my gift, right? So I had to educate people to say kids start kindergarten at 5.
Mhm.
They're in preschool at 4. I have been in a lot of pre-K classes. They wash their own hands, they get their own plate, they throw the plate away. So if your child is still at home and they're 4 and you're still babying them,
Mm-hmm.
When they do go to school,
They ain't gonna
it
know
is
nothing.
going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. So you're still picking them up. You're still holding the cup to their mouth. You're still wiping their face. They're 4. That's pre-K.
Mm-hmm.
Kindergarten is like the new first grade. They what? And then I had to tell parents, pre-K you got 2 teachers, kindergarten you got 1. So just imagine if people don't put their kids in preschool, my lord, and then throw them in the kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
and then people wonder why their kid get tested so quick and they talking about special education because your child is delayed. Maybe
Wow.
not delayed forever, but it's just like I feel bad for these kindergarten teachers. I felt bad for them both when I was in the school system, but I know it was 10 times worse now because they would complain like, oh, this kid don't know how to hold a pencil. Oh, this kid don't know how to write their name.
Wow. That's
So,
crazy. Because I
so
never
that's
really.
those ages go by so quickly. So, okay, I give it about 2, maybe 2.5. Actually, no, I give it about 3. By 3, you need to start some independency. Learn how to blow your nose yourself. Learn how to put on your pants yourself. At least attempt to.
Yeah, you've been on this world too long. Wipe your face. Like you too
No, for
old.
real. But let me tell you, Constance, even sometimes I look up and I'm like, how old are you again? You 5 now? Like 3, 4, and 5. Those 3 years go by so fast. You look up, oh, you have a 3-year-old. Then it's like, wait, it's time for pre-K. Now it's time for kindergarten.
Yeah.
The 3, 4, and 5, those years go by so fast. And I'll tell you a funny story. So with my ex-boyfriend, I went to visit him once, and his daughter is young. I'll just say that, I won't give ages. She's young, and so um, I looked on her little table, and I saw this book that said her name, and it said pre-K. Now, mind you, she's nowhere near pre-K, nowhere near. And so I said, "What's this?" And so I'm looking through it, and this is these Velcro stuff in there with the alphabet and her name and colors and shapes. I said, "Why'd you get that?" I was like, "She too young. She's not even close to pre-K. Like, why?" He said, "It's all them stories you keep telling."
Oh. He was like, his kid is not gonna be the one that you be
Listen,
talking.
he would hear all my stories about how, I got these 4-year-old kids who don't know how to spell their name and don't know the letters of the alphabet, and they about to go to kindergarten and they're gonna be behind. And he's just hurting me all those things. And he said, I want to make sure she's ready. I said, okay.
Oh man, that's so crazy. So how does it get to the point where, or like when do you notice that a kid is nonverbal? And like I understand like what you said, the environment, but
Hmm.
shouldn't they be saying like mama, dada, all that type of
Yeah.
stuff?
So I tell parents to go by their ages, right? So when a child is 1, they should be saying 1 words all the time. Cup, mommy, up,
Okay. Oh,
go, right? But when they're 3, it should be 3 words. Mommy, come here,
mm-hmm,
right? Want more, please.
mm-hmm.
So if you see a 3-year-old and they just saying 1 words all the time, we got a problem.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I even used that when I worked in the elementary school, and I had these third, fourth, and fifth graders who were struggling with reading and writing. I told them one day, I never forget. I was like, "How old are you? How old are you? Okay, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's how many words I want in your sentence." Because a lot of kids with learning disabilities, getting them to write a sentence, they'll probably say, "I saw a cat," and I'm over exaggerating, but it'll be very short and simple. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, no, no. We third, fourth, fifth. We gotta have a
Where'd
longer
you see
sentence.
this cat at? What color was it? Like I need to
Yeah,
know.
right. So it became like a challenge, but they would give me more words in the sentences, and I was flabbergasted. Isn't it crazy? When you just tell a kid, "Give me 8 words in a sentence,"
Yeah.
and they do it, and it's just like, and the sentence made sense. It was
Mm-hmm.
missing maybe a few little things, but you could read it and understand it and have the gist of what they were trying to say. And so I just think it's amazing when you just give a guideline to kids. And I think that unfortunately, unfortunately, 80s and 90s babies, because that's majority of my parents' clientele, you
Yes.
have some that are probably thinking, I'm assuming, oh, my parents were strict. I'm not gonna be that for my kids. I'm just gonna let them, do whatever. But not realizing that kids crave structure. Excuse me. As humans, we crave engagement. People, parents, daycare teachers have always asked me, how you get them talking so quick? I'm engaging with them. And I got a kid right now. I've only been with him for maybe like 2 months. I got this kid talking. And it's sad because parents now don't talk to their kids. They don't engage with their kids. How all of a sudden this kid was like babbling almost, or having his own jargon, his own vocabulary, language going on, and all of a sudden now he's like now I walk in his daycare, he's like, "Hey," never said that before, like, right?
You're like, hey, what's
Hey, I was like, okay.
wait a
So
minute? Where you at?
right, exactly. But I tell parents, I don't come down on my parents. I try to educate them as much as possible. So I tell them, assess yourself. How many times do you just give your kid something without saying something? Or
That's
how
true.
many times do you do something and you're not saying anything? You're missing those opportunities to communicate. How did we learn how to communicate? How did we learn vocabulary? It's because we heard it all the time and we associate it with that thing, that person, that action. How do you know that's TT Lauren? Because every time TT Lauren came in, mommy would say hi to TT Lauren. That's TT Lauren. So that's how kids know what a pencil is from a book, from a chair
Mm-hmm.
to Nana, all of that. But if you're not saying anything, if you're not requiring them to request it, that's another thing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they're of age now. Why are you just giving them the bottle of water? Oh, because I know they want it. Did they ask?
Oh,
Did
that's
they ask?
crazy. That is true because like I'm playing through so many like experiences I've seen with other people and their kids, or me when I've had other people's kids. I'm like, oh, okay, here I know it's that time here,
Yep.
or
Yep.
whatever. And then you like, wait a second, mm, yeah, they never did say anything. So we
Mm-hmm.
do it. I think, and like you said, my friend and I we was talking yesterday. She was telling me this phrase that she lives by, and the phrase is, "If you raise your kids now, you can spoil your kid. You can spoil your grandkids. But if you spoil your kids, you're gonna have to raise your grandkids." And so
Oh Lord, if that ain't the truth.
I was like, yo, that is so crazy and so true because I do feel like I've heard that a lot. Like, oh, I'm not going to be as strict as my parents. And like, as I get older, like every day, I'd be like, I see why Shirley Andrew was like that. Yup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
probably going to be even worse.
right. Because I've had grandparents reach out to me. This one grandparent, I had to put her in her place. Come to find out, she's the one who took her grandson to the doctor, got the prescription for speech therapy, called me, set up the appointment. And when I realized it was grandma, I said, and when I realized that the mom and the child did not live with her, I definitely put her in check.
Yeah.
And I straight up told her, I said, he's showing signs of autism. Here's the thing. If she doesn't take him to the appointment, if she doesn't show up to the meetings and sign off on it, he will not get services. He is going to need help because he's 4, another 4-year-old. I don't know what it is about that 4-year-old. People wake up and like, oh no, there's something wrong with my child at 4. Like, no, you knew that at 2 and 3. But some odd reason 4, they just they just wake up and be like, oh,
Where's
I
the
think I can
magic
do something.
number?
Yeah. But I've seen in my 6 years in private practice, I have seen grandparents step up or grandparents calling, oh, I have to do it for my daughter. Why? Why do you have to do it for her? She's not concerned. Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of like my granny was very, very a part of our lives, but my granny
Hmm.
didn't have to like step in because my parents weren't doing. Now
Right.
she might have stepped in and say, "I'm gonna do this," but it wasn't
Right.
because Shirley Andrew wasn't
Yeah.
doing it. It was just because
Right.
these are my grandbabies.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we're going to see more. And I had to let them know, unless your child signs guardianship, when the child needs services in the public school system, you have no right.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You
You have
can't
no right.
come in there and just be like, hey, we're gonna do XYZ. You're not like the guardian,
Yeah. So I start them early with me. Call me rude. I don't care. But
But
I'm
now,
like, right. Good. So even in my private practice, if I find out it's grandma and mom is all the way right and her elevator still go all the way to the top, oh, what's her number? Let me talk to her. Because she has to do. Oh, she got to work. Guess what? Guess what?
wow.
What are you gonna do when it's parent teacher conference and they're like, "Oh, your kid is struggling. You're gonna have to take off work then." So carve out some time now and figure stuff out. But girl, yeah. So everybody, the few people that know that I am moving and going back to school, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna close down your practice?"
I know. That's how I felt. Like, duh.
I'm so ready. I feel like COVID has made parents worse because they try to blame COVID, but at the same time, just like when we were younger and our parents made life how it was when we were either stuck in the home or couldn't go nowhere, or didn't have enough money to go anywhere, we did what we had to do. We went to grandma's house, we went to the zoo, something, right? But these parents are different. These parents are different. They're combative. They're in denial. And I've gotten to the point where I use them in the metaphor or analogy of a personal trainer. Why would I? Yeah. So why would I put all this stock in this kid when they're just gonna go home to an environment that's not going to help their progress? So if I'm telling you, you need to do this, you need to do this, and you don't do it, then it's like going to a personal trainer and then like 2 minutes later going to go eat pizza. Like, but why? Like, I'm just going to cut you off because you're wasting my time. You're redoing my work, right?
Yeah, like now I got to work harder because you're doing your job at home. And I feel like that goes on all across because, I used to teach like, the least you can do is make sure the kid gets some sleep.
At minimum. This whole falling asleep with their tablet, oh, they didn't go to sleep at 10 or 11 o'clock. Excuse me, who's the parent? Right. And then putting TVs in their room.
Man,
why does a 4-year-old have a TV in their room?
I don't understand. Even Dumars and I was talking about like the TV in the room. I was like, at one time I was like, we don't really need a TV in the room. Because, just trying to avoid the falling asleep, to the TV. And me as just an adult, I'm trying to do better for myself. I mean, we have a TV, but I'm trying to make it happen, make sure it's off.
And I'm glad you brought that up because what do they tell us as adults when it comes to our cell phones? An hour before you go to bed, you should look at your cell phone. So what do you think when they say 2 hours before bed for kids? There's a reason. There's a reason as adults we don't need it. There's definitely a reason as a kid they don't need it. It messes up your sleep pattern.
That's crazy. But I seen this thing. It's like this movement. It says wait till 8. I don't know if you heard that movement. So basically,
I don't even want to hear it, but just go ahead and tell me.
No, it's on the same lines. So wait till 8 basically is like it's trying to convince all parents to at least wait till your kid is in 8th grade to give them a cell phone. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I know. Because at first I was like, wait till 8? What are we waiting on?
Right.
Wait, what?
I was thinking something else, but I'm cool with that. Yeah, okay.
I told you was gonna like it. And they was explaining like the screen time, kids falling asleep with their phones, a lot of kids doing any and everything, because I'm seeing all this stuff like how you can have secret accounts on TikTok and these kids are getting into like all this foolishness. And I'm just like, wait a second. When I was growing up,
apps out there where they can not see this and have something to
it's just I'm like, wait till 8. Shoot, I can wait till like college.
Listen, I'm dating myself. Well, no, I'm not, because you already put me on Front Street. So I had a prepaid phone till I went to college. I didn't have an actual cell phone till I went to college. Well, like one with the plan. And then I really date myself because when I got a cell phone going to college, you only got 50 text messages a month.
Bruh, let me tell you.
Let's talk about those times.
The only reason why I know that I ended up getting a cell phone was because at the time, my cousin, I mean, she grown now, but at the time I was in high school. This is right before I ended up going to GAAA, and she had to have heart surgery or something, and my dad had to come. I missed the bus, and I was calling my mom from a payphone, and that, I guess, was it. My mom was like, no, we're not doing this, because I was in school in North Carolina. So my dad came pick me up, and that's how I ended up getting a cell phone. But with them text messages,
listen,
50, and that 50 included incoming and outgoing, at least
that's
for me.
Right. And then when you went over, it was 25, 50 cents per text.
Oh my goodness. I remember calling my mom, like, Mom, like, I need more text messages. And she was like, this is all you get. And so let me tell you how I ended up getting bumped up. I went home one summer. I was in a situation and I could not call my mom. I could only text my mom. Oh, because my mom did not put text messaging on her plan. She only gave it to me. So I had to text my aunt to call my mom, to tell my mom to, like, I need help. So after that, we got a bigger text messaging plan. That's crazy. You had to have a text messaging plan. You like it was
rough out here on these streets. I got a call almost every month because my uncle was paying our bill, and he was like, "What are y'all texting about?" Because y'all texting each other. So for the audience out here, I have a twin sister, and he was just like, what are y'all texting? I was like, we were texting, are you in the cafeteria? Are you going to go to dinner?
Exactly.
Can you meet me? Can you
That's
meet me
here? Let's meet in the cafeteria.
Right. So he was just like, yeah. So I think definitely by the time I graduated college, they had moved to like unlimited or 250. Like they, it was like
1,000.
Right. You could, 1,000. Yeah, 1,000. Yeah. So yeah, man.
Wow, that is.
I know the struggles.
Even still back then, because we had flip phones and everything, but the pixels and everything, like the clarity wasn't like that. Like I remember, because I had Sprint. So, actually, was it Sprint or it was like PowerTel, Sprint, whatever it was. But remember the green screen. The screen was green, and you had like the black words, and you had to type, do this, so many times to get a text message through. So now I just feel like I have this setting on my phone that it kind of alerts me 30 minutes before my bedtime. And then when it's bedtime, my phone is on Do Not Disturb anyway, because I got to protect my peace. Folks just be calling. My dad don't understand. I'm going to have to take him off my, my preferred list, because he's on Do Not Disturb. And I'm like, I'm on Do Not Disturb for a reason, Dad. But that's neither here nor there. But it turns the phone, like it turns everything black and white. And I was like, but so apparently they said it's better for your eyes at night.
Yeah, on the iPhone it does change it to that. So yeah.
Okay. I was like, that's interesting. But
that way, like that night look. Yeah.
It's just like, oh, it turned everything. So I tried it out last night, and I was on Instagram. I was like, everything black and white. Oh no. So it really actually discouraged me from even being on my phone, because one, I couldn't remember how to turn it off. So let's just start there. Two, I was like, okay, I see it does discourage you, because you take in like colors and everything, and that makes the experience better. So it's all in black and white. I'm like, I want to look at that, because what if her shirt was really cute in red and I can't see that as red? So just left it at that. Oh man. But I've seen kids where like parents will give them like their older phone, and I'm not faulting any parent because I ain't got no kids, so I can't talk. But I've seen it, and they have and they're just on the phone. Just like, oh, it's not on. I was like, I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying, like,
yeah, they have it set where the kids only play games with it because my 4-year-old client has it. Has that same setup. He has a phone,
okay.
but it just has games on it. And so I remember taking my aunt out to Cheesecake Factory. Never forget this. This was recent, and I saw this lady come in with a stroller, and then she had 2 other kids. So of course the baby in the stroller didn't have anything. The little boy had a small tablet, and the girl, who clearly had to be like 10, 11 years old, she had a phone. And I was just like, you're walking. Now, this particular Cheesecake Factory is attached to a mall. You're at a mall.
Mm-hmm.
This is a perfect time to have a conversation. The perfect time to interact with your kids.
Perfect time to get snatched
And
up.
if I'm judging, I'm not even sugarcoating it. I'm judging. This is why I think the next generation are going to have social issues, because they didn't have enough practice socializing.
Exactly, because even when you're together, everybody's on the phone, and I even realize that sometimes with me and my friends, like
Right.
we all get together and we're just like on the phones, and then I'd be like, y'all, hold up a second, look at this,
Right.
and then sometimes we're all in the same group chat because we're sharing memes.
Right.
It's like, so we're doing that as adults, for those of us who have kids, that's what the kids are doing.
And that's the fine line you have to walk, because if I'm sitting here telling them to dial back the screen time, I'm also telling them as an adult they need to dial back their screen time and interact with their kids. But let's get real nice and nasty. There's some parents who really didn't want these kids. Come on now. They really want these kids, but they're going to take care of them and do right by them.
Yeah.
So the thought of them actually engaging with them, they don't want to do that.
Exactly. That's true. They're not gonna put in the extra effort. They're gonna do.
They still fighting with the baby mama, baby daddy, whatever, and they more focused on that and focused on other stuff that it's just like, no, they occupied. This my time of peace. No, you let peace walk out the door when you had a child.
Wow. Woo! Wow, like I've learned like so much. I like the thing you say, use the age. 2 words, 3 words. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Cause I see some kids sometimes and I'll be like, hey.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's how and you're gonna pick it up now. Look, I won't do like I do my family. Because when I bring stuff up, like now they be looking at stuff. My sister, even today, we'll be watching TV. Do they got a list? Oh yeah, they got a list. But anyway, that's how you can tell which kids get a lot of screen time and which ones do not. If they can give you a full-fledged sentence and they 4, 5 years old, it's like, your parents waited. It must have you like on a timer or something, right? But when you try to talk to a kid and you can't keep their attention.
I
don't know what they're saying. Oh, they getting hella screen time.
Yo, that's crazy, because I've like tried to interact with like certain kids and like, oh hey, because I'm probably talking to one of their parents, and it's like, phone? Can I play with your phone? And I'm just like, yeah, no, we don't do that over here.
Yeah. So our education system is it's going to be in crisis because we still dealing with this pandemic situation, and then you adding a group, not just 1, 2 kids, a whole generation of kids coming up with all of this screen time and all this energy and attention. And then you have not all, but a group of parents who don't want to change and don't want to adjust their environment and what they in their household. It's gonna be rough out here on these streets, and that's why people are running to charter schools and private schools.
That's true. Okay,
they still got issues though.
you know. Oh man. So to wrap it up, I have 2 questions. First, I know we talked about environment, but is there any other like crucial tip that you could like throw out there to like parents who are dealing with like little kids, bringing them up, that would help their kid be successful when it comes to like speech and learning and everything like that?
I would definitely say old school. I tell all my parents, old school playing. Like even I know even Leapfrog now has this little like tablet looking thing, but
Oh,
books, right? Books, Legos, baby dolls, puzzles.
something they can
So
touch.
yes, especially our black boys. Black boys love to touch things. I realize even in therapy, if I don't have something that they can manipulate, it's gonna be a long 30 minutes. But when I have like something that they can touch or they can feed this and touch this and pull this and close it, they are in it. Okay. And
Wow.
so it's really sad that Toys R Us closed, but that just shows you where we are as a culture and as a people. Kids' jobs, I can't even take what's the word, credit for what I'm about to say, but occupation is to play. Play teaches them communication. Play teaches them their motor skills on how to walk, how to pick up stuff, how to pour. Play is their occupation.
Mhm.
So if we keep that in mind when we're raising our kids or our godchildren, niece, nephew, whatever, grandchildren, play is their occupation. And
Mhm.
when you take that away, that's why they're having all these delays, not able to wipe their nose, not able to hold a fork and be able. Ooh, child, and some kids, I was like, ooh, I can tell your parents still feed you, because just how they're being, I'm for real, how they hold the fork and scoop it to their mouth, like
Mhm.
small. I'm telling you, play
I'm gonna start
teaches
paying
kids
attention.
everything. I'm telling you, play teaches kids everything. And not only buy them the toys, but engage with them. Okay, I know you gotta cook, you gotta clean, whatever. Okay,
Mhm.
they're playing with something. Oh, what you playing with? Oh, you building a house? Is it gonna be a big house? Is it gonna be a small house? Is it gonna be red? Oh, you put all the red Legos together. What you gonna do? Oh, you
Mhm.
gonna make a pool? You can do that from across the room. I would love for you to do it right next to them. But if you got, if you got, especially these single parents out here, if you gotta cook, if you gotta do this laundry, as you
Mhm.
walking by or as you, oh, you doing that? And when they get of age, like 3, 4, 5, even though I know this sounds like a nightmare, but try to incorporate them in the chores that you have.
Mhm.
Um, I have seen, which I think is really cool, like this stair step for toddlers. So they can be like the same height for the kitchen counter.
Okay.
So, okay, you don't want them to make a mess. Get a nice bowl, throw a little flour in there. I bet you they'll play with that little flour the whole time while you're cooking. And it
Yep.
and don't be afraid for kids to make a mess. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to make a mess. Okay? They're supposed to make a mess.
Woo!
So yeah, that's
Oh
my tip.
man. That's your tip. That's your tip. Awesome. Well, one last thing.
Mhm.
I would so okay, question. So I know that you're closing down your mobile clinic, your business. Okay, get that.
Yeah.
But are you gonna keep Here to Speak Academy?
I'm definitely gonna keep Here to Speak
Okay.
Academy, and once life settles, because I don't wanna start something too quickly, I
Yeah.
am gonna keep Here to Speak and change it to like a IEP advocacy parent training thing.
Okay.
I think once I get real deep into my PhD program, it'll come to me on what it needs to be,
Okay.
because my advisor actually is over the community health degrees. So I'm
Oh,
like, okay, Lord, I see what you're doing, kinda. At least I'm getting a glimpse. And so
okay.
because Here to Speak is here to speak, I literally can turn it into anything. And so
Yeah.
I have a big passion for parents understanding the whole process of getting their kids services through the school system. I've
Mhm.
seen a lot of parents get played. A lot of parents don't know what's going on. And that's why I'm getting this degree so that I can go to these committees and policymakers, be like, this is not what's happening on these streets. You might have implemented this. This might be in this manual and this policy, but this is not what's happening. Why I'm still experiencing or coming in contact with parents who feel overwhelmed, who still don't understand what their child is getting. I'm still getting copies of people's IEP, and I'm telling parents, oh, look in this section. It should have this information. Why am I doing that? That should have been done at the meeting. Why am I always having to re-explain things to them? That's not okay. So yeah, but I'm definitely going to keep here to Speech Academy. I will tell you this. I have COVID has taught you nothing. Multiple streams of income. So that is, I do love helping people, but I saw that, oh, okay, this is going to be another stream of income that I can generate. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we're not going away. We just forging a new path.
Yeah. Oh, I'm always going to still be an entrepreneur, because I was telling one of my friends about like the 2 jobs I applied for, and she was like, oh, you're really changing. Don't get it twisted. Just because I've applied to some jobs, and that's just for the stability of, hey, I'm grown now. I can't live like a college student. I need a job. And trying to rebuild my practice in a whole new state, in a whole new city, that does not sound like fun to me. So let me just go be somebody's employee again. It ain't going to be forever.
It's temporary. I got you.
But that's where my other side stuff comes from. I'm still going to have my entrepreneurial other businesses, things coming on, to other things that I have going on. That I have, or the entrepreneur bug has bit me, and it will forever be with me. And I don't think that's going away anytime soon. So yeah, but I'm really excited.
That is so cool. So cool. Like, I'm like, first dope, because you're a Black woman. You out here killing it in this, here to speak. And I'm like, yep, I know her. Yep, that's Lauren.
No, now let me tell you something funny. I'm not used to now I don't want to call it the fame, because I don't want to sound like I'm a celebrity or something, but
you got to pat yourself on the back.
So, the world's opening up now, and I am I love going to conventions, probably because I love networking. And so recently, I went to one in November, I went to one in March. And this girl, the one in March, was just for Black speech pathologists. And this girl saw me walking through the hotel, and she was like, Lauren Hastings? I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I meeting you. The girl started crying.
What?
And I was like, I was looking for some other prominent, speech pathologists behind me. Like, maybe she got me mixed up with somebody else. But the irony and the testimony in that is that she's a student. And, on my Instagram, I post some advice for students a lot. And so she was juggling school and was thinking about quitting. And she found me and started following me, and she stayed in school. And so, yeah. And so then her other friend came around the corner, and she was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're meeting you. I listened to your podcast. And then by the end of it, they were calling me their cousin. I was like, okay. But that's something I'm slowly getting used to. People walking up to me saying, oh, I follow you on Instagram. I like your content. So that's a little different.
Good though. Like, look at you out here influencing the world.
I guess. At the end of the day, my uncle, so I get it from him. I'm just doing me and having fun. I'll say this for, I think for us, especially as Black women, we're all about like helping other people, doing for other people, but sometimes we need to just be self-aware and take care of us. And lean into our gift. And so now that I'm, even at the tender age of 38, just now getting to the point where I'm just like,
I never said my age.
Well, you are, but I've just reached a point where it's like, okay, God put me here for a reason. I'm really falling in love with who I am, what I bring to the table, what I offer to the world. And I'm just enjoying just living and walking in that. And it's just so much freedom in that. Someone signed up to do a consultation with me. And she's like, "You're the same way you are on social media." I was like, "Well, I'm supposed to be different." Like, I'm the same way. There's no other way to be.
Dog, you gonna get.
This is what you're gonna get. Okay, you're gonna get Lauren from the SWATs. You're gonna get professional Lauren. You gonna get you gonna get a little bit of everything.
Oh, man. But yeah, that is so cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for chit chatting with me, kicking it with me. Cause you know that's the name of the podcast, Kickish. But I will say this as I close out. Once again, I just said it, but I'm gonna keep saying it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, do not forget to comment, like, share, because sharing is caring. It can be fun.
Yeah.
And it's free. And to follow. Do you want anyone you want to throw out any places for them to follow you?
Sure. Follow me on Instagram at Sassy SLP. You can find me on LinkedIn at Lauren Hastings. I'm active on both of those, and then of course Facebook, Lauren Hastings SLP. But Instagram is where I'm active the most. If you want to hear some crazy stories, definitely want to follow my Instagram at Sassy SLP. No special spelling. SASSYSLP.
All right, thank you. All right, that's the end of our podcast. Thank you guys for joining in, and we shall see you guys later. Pieces.